So Daredevil Born Again Season 2 just recently finished up, and guys, I think this might just be one of my favorite seasons of Daredevil in general. Getting the obvious out of the way, yes, I think this is a massive improvement over Season 1. And with this season being out, in my opinion, it's safe to say that Daredevil Born Again is easily the best Marvel Disney Plus show. As always, we're going to start off with the pros before I get into the cons. The first major improvement of Season 2 is that episodes felt a lot more cohesive, and the episodes themselves flowed better together compared to Season 1 in my opinion. Season 2 also went a long way with trying to make Born Again feel more like the Netflix show. There was several moments throughout the season where the camera work or the shots, the lighting, the cinematography felt very reminiscent of the Netflix show, to the point where I thought I was just watching another season of Netflix Daredevil. It's seriously impressive what they were able to accomplish here. Another thing I really enjoyed with this season is the action set pieces and the fight scenes. They were just dialed up to 11 in this one compared to the last season, and I really enjoyed the scene with the swordsman and Daredevil freeing the innocent people from the cages. I think that's one of the best fight scenes in the entire show. Also, all of the scenes with Bullseye were peak, but we're going to get to him a little bit later in the video. Some more fights that stood out to me were obviously all of the scenes in the finale, but also the rematch between Kingpin and Daredevil was really good in my opinion. The choreography is great all around, but you really start to notice the higher budget that Born Again has compared to the Netflix show in this season. I also really enjoyed what they did with a lot of the newer / brand new characters in this season. The Daniel subplot they had going on was actually pretty captivating, and I didn't find myself getting as annoyed with him like I did in the first season. Although by the end of that subplot, I started to feel very bad for the kid. I also really liked the character of Mr. Charles, played by Matthew Lillard. I really enjoyed getting to see the back and forth between him and Kingpin, and my only complaint is that I wish he was in the season way longer. But I am very excited to see what they do with him in the future of the MCU, but also just in the next season of Born Again. But easily the character that stole the show completely was Bullseye. Every time he's on screen, it's always great. I really enjoy the conversations that he has with Daredevil and this very estranged redemption arc that they try to give the character. It's all very interesting stuff. And the fight scenes between him, the diner scene. The diner scene is gonna go down as one of the greatest Marvel scenes ever. I'm sorry. It was too peak. Sorry, I got a little bit carried away there. I just really enjoyed Bullseye in this season. I definitely think he's one of the best Marvel villains, especially in the MCU. And I'm glad that the character of Bullseye definitely does have a future, and I think he might end up becoming one of the Dark Avengers or something like that. That's going to be interesting to see. But enough about Bullseye, we have to talk about the self-proclaimed #1 New York Mets fan and one of the best Marvel villains ever, Kingpin. I truly think Season 2 of Born Again does a lot of good for the character of Kingpin, not just because we got to see Bro crash out on a bunch of protesters, which still one of the craziest scenes in the entire show, but also because of the fact that this season is going to have huge ramifications going forward for the character. They literally killed his wife, Vanessa Fisk, and now that we actually get to see Kingpin be as unhinged as he was, I'm very curious to see where that's going to leave him in Season 3, because if you've seen Season 2 already, the season ends with not only Daredevil getting himself thrown in prison because he reveals his identity, but also Kingpin being exiled from the city of New York. He's no longer allowed to return, and instead of him going to jail and just getting out again, he just sits alone on the beach, realizing that he can't have Vanessa. And to me, this is one of the best endings that they've ever given a villain character, because it's the ultimate punishment. I saw a lot of people get mad over the ending, but to me, this is the only way that they could have given Kingpin any sort of consequence. It just makes sense. And I'm very interested to see what Season 3 is going to be like, considering that him and Matt Murdock have beards. There's probably gonna be a time skip of some sort. And after this season ended, I saw a lot of people talking about Kingpin fatigue and how we need to give the character a break. And while I do agree that season 3 should definitely try to introduce a lot more Daredevil villains, I don't think getting rid of Kingpin is the answer necessarily. I think you can still do a lot of interesting things with the character of Wilson Fisk, especially now that Vanessa is gone. And like it or not, Kingpin should always be the main villain for Daredevil because it's his arch nemesis. Moving away from Kingpin though, I gotta talk about Jessica Jones. Now, I'm not a diehard Jessica Jones fan or anything like that. I'm sure there are people more well-versed in the topic of her character, but I do think her inclusion, while cool, was a little bit disappointing. She kind of just shows up when the plot needs her to, and ultimately shows up at the end just so they can set up the return of the Defenders and Luke Cage. I feel like a lot more could have been done with her character. I wanted to see, more of her struggling with her powers because of the pregnancy and having a child and everything. It's just stuff that we don't have time to explore because of everything else going on in the show, and that was a little bit disappointing. And although she was nerfed, it was definitely fun seeing her still manage to kick ass alongside Daredevil. I mentioned the finale earlier and what happens in it, and I do think the I Am Daredevil courtroom scene was brilliant. Not just because in this season you get a lot more Daredevil compared to Matt Murdock, which I actually don't see as a negative since we get a lot of Matt Murdock already in the other seasons, so having a season that was largely focused on just Matt being in the Daredevil costume 90% of the time up until the end was pretty refreshing, at least to me personally. And it does definitely set up season 3. I know a lot of people are theorizing that he could possibly show up in Brand New Day, and while I want that to be the case, knowing Marvel and TV rights and all that, I just don't know if it's gonna happen. I would love to see my boy Daredevil team up with Spidey, but we just don't know if it's gonna happen. And I did see a lot of people complaining about the I Am Daredevil scene because they tried to compare it to Iron Man and it's like, oh, bro just got himself sent to prison, what an idiot. But they're missing the point of the scene. He knew what was going to happen as soon as he revealed his identity, and that scene where he's sitting in the prison and you see a slight smile on Matt's face just goes to show that he wants it. He revels in the fact that people know who he is and are gonna try to fight him, and he's just gonna let the devil out on them. Ah, you see what I did there, huh? Obvious rivals pun aside, I do think that this season is not only a massive improvement over the first, but is genuinely one of the best pieces of Marvel television out right now. I strongly recommend you catch up with Born Again if you for some reason haven't, because it is genuinely so good. And while I'm recording this, I know the Punisher special has just released. I have not seen it yet at the time of recording, but I'll probably have a review for it soon. Anyways, thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you in whatever my next project ends up being.